we met with organizers during the COP26 in Glasgow in one of the WMO events on gender equality. And organizers were quite excited with what we have said and what we have presented. So I'm very happy to have a chance to speak a little bit about how did we make it success, gender equality in the WMO. It was not success from the beginning. Some 20 years ago, 25 years ago actually, there was a last United Nations Gender Conference in Beijing, and there was a sort of activities in the United Nations about gender mainstreaming or gender equality starting in 1975. However, in my view, the real change started happening when the United Nations created UN Women in 2010. They had become quite a focus of the gender equality and started finding the way how to break the glass ceilings and how to change the situation. WMO, World Meteorological Organization, is a United Nations specialized agency. We are specializing in weather, climate, water globally, on disaster risk reduction, climate change, on different kind of services. But we have, as a part of United Nations system, of course, we also joined the UN Women call to look how gender equality can work better in different organizations. And in 2014, we have organized a gender conference in WMO. We were thinking, what could be our contribution into this agenda? How we can be impactful and bring new or innovative ways to look at the problem. Of course, at that time, we were not different than other organizations in UN or elsewhere. Our women represented in governance, in technical groups, in management were maximum 20%. We were all in this 20% or below level. It doesn't mean that women were not out there in the research institutions or in national med services, which WMO works with, but they were not coming into the system and into the leadership. In 2014, the conference we organized, we decided that we might have a special role in this agenda, not just looking at how many women sit in the secretariat or how many women sit in the governance. We were not about targets at that time. We were about the meaning and the value of the diversity. And we started looking at the gender-specific aspects of the weather, climate, and water services, how it is different for women or for men to receive warnings or to react on the warnings, for instance. So that was the area which no one looked before us. And I think we have made quite a lot of the progress in diversifying the products which our organization and our members create for their people and for their governments in terms of gender-specific possible impacts and adaptation or mitigation measures. Inside the organization, we thought, okay, in order for us to make it really gender-specific services, we really need to have a good diversity of the experts working with us. And this 20% target was not fantastic for us. So we talked with UNESCO and with other partner organizations. What are their insights? How many women we have out there in the science and in the STEAM, science and technology, natural science type of disciplines? And you know, the answer was actually not very encouraging at that time. UNESCO was talking about leaking pipes. They had the statistics that girls and boys are equally good in math and physics at the school. But then there is many girls and as many boys in the early grades in the higher schools and university. But the higher you go, the fewer women you would have in the next scientific grades. So there is some dilemma here, how to resolve. We started looking further, what else happens in the grassroots? How can we find all these women which are out there and to bring them in our organization? And then we started hearing that in many countries, in very many countries, stereotypes still exist. The parents tell the girls that the math and physics and science is not good for you. You're not for that. So as a result, in the world globally, you can see more women in medical services or in social type of disciplines, but less so in the technical science. Whether there were no women at all, no, of course, there were brightest women, which everyone knows, Marie Curie or Valentina Tereshkova, who are inspirational for many girls today, but they were really very few. So the stereotypes should have been broken. The encouragement and mentoring of the young women and the girls should be there to encourage them to take scientific professions and to look at the more technological areas, but also networks where they can feel that they are comfortably part of the community which works on certain topics, and so on and so forth. Most recently, we saw the results of COVID, which impacted much more severe the women researchers than the men. Much less papers were published from the female researchers, and much less new projects were submitted by female researchers. Probably because most of us were teleworking, working remotely from home, and the combination of family duties and the work duties is becoming even more difficult when you're at home. So another issue we needed to look at, it's a work-life balance, how the women can combine their scientific interests and their professional careers with their work at home or with their duties at home. So all these many social and stereotypic things which exist in the past society are no longer helping us in the modern society. And the most important message is that for the modern, innovative, forward-looking overcome diversity is the must. So what WMO did to overcome these barriers? First, 8 years ago, WMO adopted policy on gender equality. This policy doesn't only look at how many women work at the Secretariat. It looks on the inclusive and gendered balance in all our expert groups, in the technical commissions, in the governance, and also in the management. Secondly, it looks what happens in the national meteorological and hydrological services, where all these women are, what they're doing, are they empowered, do they have a chance, do they have opportunity to come forward and to work in our groups in particular. So gender policy had a very, very precise and focused, layered approach, targeted approach, how to bring women into the organization structures and in its leadership. The second, we looked specifically in the women's leaders. We have organized a number of specific workshops, women leadership workshops. We invited several hundreds of women perhaps, in the different technical disciplines, in oceanography, in climatology, and we trained them for the leadership. As a result, in those technical commissions where we have organized those trainings, the number of female participants in their governing body sessions increased by almost 20%. And we started seeing much more talented women coming, not shying away from nominating themselves to serve in different groups. So this is very important and simple actually way how to find the ladies out there and to bring them into the light of the governance and management. And finally, that there is also not enough recognition. There is only 3 Nobel Prize women nominated for all the times. In WMO, we also have our own Nobel Prize. It's called International Meteorological Organization Prize. It's an outstanding award, most prestigious in our organization, for great contribution into meteorology for particular individuals. And we too only have 3 women awarded from the beginning of times, more than 60 years ago. So these things we started changing across the organization, systematically and consistently. So we do have policy we do have action plan, and we do have target. 40% women should serve in all our bodies across the organization, from the bottom expert groups to the top management groups and the governance structures. 40% target. Also, every body of WMO, every constituent body, has a requirement to recruit experts from the countries based on expertise, regional and gender balance. So they are proactively looking at the talented women out there to invite them and to encourage them to serve. That will give them additional empowerment. And finally, in 2019, WMO undertaken historical reform. We have changed all our constituent bodies because those which we developed in the past century were no longer totally fit for purpose. We have developed the new innovative structure. We combined many commissions in two main areas, infrastructure and services, and we have included in the mandate of those commissions to have all these balances. As a result, we now see tremendous growth of women in these bodies. In services commissions, for instance, in areas related to climate services, health, urban, we have almost parity, nearly 50%. In some other groups, the number is close to our 40% targets. There is still work to do in infrastructure side, where it is like high technology, high technological areas, where the women still remain around 30 or 35%. But we are working on this. We have created instrument to do that through the policy, through the target, through the focused interventions in the key places, but mainly through the changing cultures. In our organization, working together is no longer duty because we are part of certain resolution of General Assembly, but because it makes our organization stronger and more dynamic. It is good for everybody. So it is issue not just for women, but both women and men. So I think that this example may inspire many others. And myself, for instance, I'm quite special in WMO. I was recruited as the first technical director in 2003, and then I was first Assistant Secretary General in 2010, and now I'm the first and only Deputy Secretary General. But with the culture which we have now, with the core value which WMO sets in our strategy, which is diversity and inclusiveness, which includes gender equality, with this in mind and with the new culture in mind, I believe that there is no more barriers for women to join and enjoy working with the World Meteorological Organization. I hope this example can inspire others and come to learn from us in person or through our website wmo.int/gender. Thank you.